Hi, Matt with eTrailer, and today we're going to be talking about the Titan Chains tire stow chains with roller links on a 2023 Nissan Murano. We're going to have this on our front axle as what the manual recommends, and our tire size is going to be 235/65 R18. So let's take a closer look at these. This is going to be a great option for you if you're looking for something for more in case of emergencies. You don't use tire chains a whole lot, but you'd rather have something on hand than nothing. Or you live in a state that requires you to have chains. So let's take a closer look at the specs. Taking a closer look at these chains, we're going to have these roller links that are constructed from this low carbon steel. So they're not going to be as durable as our other chains, but they're still going to be able to get the job done. These roller links are also going to provide you more of a smooth ride for when you are driving. And they're still pretty small, so they're going to be Class S compatible. So what that means is they're going to have plenty of room to fit underneath your suspension. We're also going to have this ladder pattern, and what that ladder pattern does is give you more traction when you're stopping or going. And we're going to have this lever at the very bottom that's going to get you some extra tensioning out of these chains to get them on here a lot easier. What I also recommend is putting a rubber tensioner on your chains. This is just going to help keep them tight as you're driving, because a lot of times they will loosen up. So having something like this is just an extra safety mechanism. They're going to come two to a set in this pretty light duty bag. And what is nice about this one is we do have some holes on the bottom. And those holes are for if you put these in where there's still a lot of snow on them, it can drain out. Now I will say that since this is pretty light duty, if you use this for a couple seasons, this is probably going to degrade with time and start to fall apart. So what I'd recommend is investing in a small tote. Overall, this is going to be a great option for you if you're just trying to stay legal in your state or you're looking for something in case of emergencies. As for the installation, it is fairly straightforward, pretty easy. The toughest thing is just getting underneath your car and making those back connections. But if you need a hand with that, just stay tuned and we'll show you how to do it. Now to start off the installation, I'm just going to lay out my chains, and I'm going to make sure I have some gloves to make this easier. I also recommend doing this for the first time at home, so you don't have to figure out how to do this on the side of the road in the middle of a blizzard. But when we look over our chains, we want to make sure there's no damages to the links. And we also want to make sure this is in the right orientation. So we're going to have some hooks. We're going to make sure the hooks are facing up, so they're away from our tire. And we want to make sure this lever is facing on the outside, furthest away from the vehicle. After when you've checked that, we can start draping it over a tire, just by grabbing it in the center and putting it over. You want to make sure it's even on both sides. You don't want it hanging too low where it's going to make contact with your rim. And when that looks good, we can come on the back side of it. And when we come on the back side, we want to grab this cable with the blocks on it, and then we want to grab the side with the channels and run those blocks through that channel. Now this might take a few attempts. For one, this is a tight squeeze, so if you're larger, it's going to be kind of hard to do. And you might have to go back and forth to kind of adjust how tight this is, because you don't want to make it too tight, but you can't tighten the front. And when we come to the front side, we want to grab those same blocks, and this time this channel is going to have a lever on it, and we're just going to run those blocks back through here like we did on the back side. And once it's pretty tight, we're going to push this lever until it reaches back here and hooks on to this cable. You can move this piece over to the side. All this piece does is, if you have a lot of extra length, you can run that extra cable through this hole. And what I recommend doing next is grabbing a rubber tensioner. If you don't have one at home, you can find one of those on our website. And the way you put it on your chains is by making sure that this hook is facing away from your tire. And when you place it on in a star pattern. And at this point, you can come back through, make sure everything feels pretty tight. And if it does, you can repeat that same process on the other side. Then once you've done that, you can either pull forward or back up some. Just make sure everything's fitting good. And after that, you can take it for a ride. But if you liked everything you saw today, that's just a look at the insulation and some of the features of the Titan chains, tire chains on the 2023 Nissan Murano.